You know, it gets old every single day seeing people hide behind rhetoric, lies, their own ignorance, and use it as a entitlement mechanism to do evil. It gets old. You are a sick society. You are. There's no way around it. And I can only think that at some point, you're going to have to pay the consequences for your codependency and lies on one side, right? And your codependency and entitlement on the other. But this country is desolate. It does not take a room filled with geniuses to figure that out. All it takes is a willingness to go and be around the normal folk, to understand what it is those of you in the elite ruling class are responsible for. Now, you can say a lot of things, but what you can't say is that what you've done is good. But yet you people pat yourselves on the back. You spend all this time, right, studying the problem. Because as long as you're studying the problem, you don't have to admit that you have to actually have a responsibility for having created it and do something about it. That's cowardice. It's avoidance. And quite honestly, it's disgusting. Now, when I look around, the hardworking people in this country have damn good reason to be utterly frustrated and pissed off at what they see. Can you blame them? I mean, really. When you look at what you've become as a nation, if it doesn't frustrate you, piss you off, unsettle you, at least get you to think. I don't know whether or not I could even say that you have life in you. You're more or less an animated corpse. Everything that could be done, you take and ruin. Every time people that reach out, you kick them in the teeth. And worse yet, so many want to pretend like they're righteous in their cause. What I see is a culture and a world that's like a corpse rotting in the noonday sun. Not only does that sadden me and frustrate me and irritate me, but I have to say that it's discouraging to me. Everywhere I go, I see your wreckage. I'm running out of things to talk about because that's all I see. I see good people suffering. I see hardworking people being plundered. I see people seeking truth being fed lies and confusion. And I see the people that have had the most success in many cases in this country that are doing pretty good despite it all, making more and more opportunities for themselves while everybody else has less and less. Now, don't make this a left or right issue. Right? The right thinks that the free market economy would solve everything. Well, what the hell do you think created the conditions we're in? And the other side thinks that if we just hand people more money and we give them more money to sit around and buy more stuff, they could live in this, consumer utopia, and they'd be content. Of course, all of it is utter bullshit. Both of you on both sides of the aisle know that you're absolutely full of shit. You know what you're responsible for. And worse yet, you refuse to let go of power. So, what do you think the consequences will be when the hammer comes down? Because it's coming down soon. I mean, how bad does one generation have to blow it? How bad does one generation have to blow it for everybody else to screw it up for many generations? I mean, how bad? I mean, what are you doing? Perhaps some of you are used to living in the world of your delusions. That's your choice. There's a reason, though, so many of us have such a negative view on our country. Now, those on the left have a certain view, and I don't agree with their view. But I also don't agree with the right that thinks that, they're perfectly right about everything. Both of you together make it utterly and impossibly insane to live here, to do anything of value that either side doesn't co-opt and use for their own personal gain. Now, what I wrote earlier on a LinkedIn profile post yesterday was about how I grew up thinking about and wanting to see how we could make things better, that we could restore things, relationships between peoples, make our cities better, more opportunities, a more honest, compassionate, right? Merciful and just society. And then I realized that the entire binary simulacrum was designed to prevent that from happening. That the whole thing really is a giant machine with two-headed shams going on. And here we are coming up on July the 4th. Most people that are celebrating July the 4th couldn't tell you a damn thing that actually occurred on July the 4th, 1776. It's just a reason for them to go out and get drunk and party and have barbecue or whatever. But there are still a lot of people that can and actually love this country. They love the idea of this country, what it could be. But if they're anything like me and they look at what it is, then they are equally as disgusted as I am by it. You see, we are tired of the ruling elite acting like they're European blue bloods, living in a 17th century dream state. We're also sick and tired of how the binary simulacrum lies and manipulates, and how you people care nothing about anything other than money. If there's one thing that characterizes the religion of America, it's mammon. If there's another thing that characterizes the United States of America, it's a lack of gratitude. But we sure have plenty of self-righteousness to go around. I mean, we export that because we don't make much of anything else. Because American companies hoard the rest of the country out so they could get bigger profits, right? Remember this grand service-based economy, right? I mean, after all, that is free market economics, right? I mean, selling out to China, a communist society that's autocratic, right? I mean, that's how your free market economies worked out. How did that work out for you last year? I mean, one only has to drive your cities and see how well that works out, and the chaos and confusion and absurdity of it all. And the socialists, good Lord, they're as insane, if not worse. I mean, if these people truly want to live in a socialist society, then go build a commune somewhere and go live it. You see, they won't do that. Most of them can't even tell you what the hell it means. What amazes me, with all the incredible people in this country and incredible genius in this country, how those that are incredibly not that way got into positions of power all over this country. Now, why would I say that? Well, unless you gouged your eyes out and ripped your ears off, you would see and hear exactly why that is. Otherwise, you'd have to be in denial. And that is why so many of us are pissed off. And that is not going to change. All right? No matter how much you think that you can cajole us, bullshit us, shame us, all right? You're only fueling more of it in us. There's a point at which you've gone too far, and you're there. When the dreamers no longer dream, when the prophets no longer prophesy, when the musicians no longer write songs to explain to you in other terms what they see, when the seers, the hearers, and the warning bells stop, you will be left with nothing but what you're responsible for and the consequences as they are rendered unto you. I've lived this for 51 years. I know it's a sham. On both sides. I've watched your system abuse my own family, friends, fellow citizens, and brothers and sisters. It is a lie. It is a lie. You live in a mirage. Right? The echo of something that could have been, but you've so corrupted yourselves, it will not be. at least while you are in power and have any control over anything. And what it will take for you to let go of that control is great, great hardship. Consequences on an order that, well, then it starts to make sense why it is you want to be in denial of your predicament. Because down deep, you know that it's coming. Now, don't you? Stuff doesn't make you happy. True happiness, true joy comes in relationships. The ones that you have devastated politically, the ones that you've allowed your enemies to get hooks into us because of you chasing your avarice and hubris. And you use the people up. You use their love for the country and the ideals of this country for your own unprincipled means. Now, don't you? I mean, everybody knows. You might as well come out and admit it. Everybody knows what you are, what you've become, and what you're doing. You've taken the most productive part of the field, if the field is the world, in the world, and rendered it damn near useless. You've allowed the enemies to come in and sow bad seed here. And it's grown up with thorns and thistles and wild animals wearing human skin that devour, that destroy, that deceive our people. I cannot believe every day I get up and try to work on ways still to defend and protect, right? And expose what our enemies are doing. Because the deeper I dig, the more I find that our enemies are not just over there, they're right here with us. Aren't you? Like I said, nothing here lasts forever. And that includes those of you in the ruling class, those of you that are sitting atop this rotting heap of mirage and fabrication that you've turned this nation into. Your time is coming to an end. So I hope it was worth it. Because you could make clothes from now till kingdom come. It will never clothe your nakedness. It will never salve your seared souls. Because you still love your pride, love your wealth, love your influence and your control, at least your perception, your self-deception of it, more than you care about taking responsibility, more than you care about truth and love, that justice and mercy may prevail here. So when it comes to prevail over you, everyone will know that it is absolutely just in rendering what must be rendered to you. Because as it is for people, so too it is for the nation.